So when it comes to support and resistance, me myself, I use levels and I use zones. So when drawing levels, I just simply use a horizontal line. But when it comes to drawing zones, what I use is a tool called, it's a rectangle. It's just a box. And any platform, any trading platform that you use should have one. However, I do use a combination of horizontal lines for my levels, and then I also use these shaded rectangles. So normally when I'm drawing my price zones, I like to draw from the body of a candle to the wick of a candle. Now keep in mind, when it comes to drawing your support and resistance, it's an art, it's not a science. So as you get better and better with your trading, you will become better with drawing your levels. So one way I like to draw, it's like two ways for the most part. When I'm drawing my zones, I like to draw from the body of the candle to the wick of the candle. So for example, in this area right here, we found support. It wicked once, then it wicked twice. So in this area right here, we have support. Price wicked once right here, and then it wicked the second time right here. Right? It was halted in this particular area. So instead of drawing, I could just draw a line here. That's one way. And I also do this sometimes. However, if you want a wider area, and sometimes that's necessary, then what I would do is draw from the body of the candle. It could be this candle here, these two candles up here, or from these two candles here. Because these wicks on this 5-minute time frame, which this chart is right now, on a smaller time frame, you will see smaller candles, not just wicks. So this is one way to draw it. Another way, let's say I didn't want the area this wide, then I would move the area up to these two candles. And at the body of these two candles, the bottom of the body, right? And then I would just make my zone a little bit smaller, all right? So, or you can also have your zone here at the wicks. It's going to depend on you as an individual. So for me, I like to draw my zone from the body of the candles to maybe a little bit past midway of the wicks. I don't like to draw them all the way to the end of the wicks, right? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. That depends on how long the wicks are. And I've been having good success, not necessarily as far as being profitable, right? And making a lot of money. Not at all. I'm still in that phase. However, when it comes to drawing my zones and my levels, I feel I do a pretty decent job because I see what price also comes and tests that particular area again, and it does react there. Now, it's up to me to analyze the reaction at those levels and then make the right trade. However, I'm still getting better at trading in general. So another example, okay, so let's say this particular area here seems that it has found resistance. Price was moving upward, price came here and it stalled. One candle, two candle, three candle. Now the bodies of these four candles, they're about even. So in this particular situation, I will put a zone, let's say at the top of the candle bodies to the top of the highest wick in this particular area. And this will be a resistance area for me. The same can be said about this particular area right here. All right, let's create another box. All right, so as you can see, price was increasing and price stopped. It halted in this particular area. All right, you see this bigger green candle, you see a green doji, and then you see a red candle. What I like to do is, let me shorten this up. So you guys can see it. Now the body of this green candle here is a little lower than the body of this doji, and the body of this red candle is higher than the body of these two previous green candles. However, what I like to do is, this is just the way I do it. My price zone initially will start at the top of the green doji, at least close to the top of the wick of the green doji. All right. Maybe not all the way to the top, but about 75%. And that'll be my zone. And then I will move my zone to the right in anticipation to see how price interacts with this particular level in the future. Now, that's the first way that I like to draw my price zones. But there is a second way I like to draw my price zones too. If I see an area on my charts where price consolidated very, very tightly, then I like to draw a zone from the top of that consolidation to the bottom of that consolidation. Let's say like this. All right. So here we have a consolidation area, and I've drawn a box around that consolidation area. This is going to be my zone. So I'm going to move it to the right. And as you can see, price moved away from this particular consolidation area, came back up into it, rejected it slightly, and it moved back into it again. Price moved away from it again, and it came back and retested that price zone. All right, it rejected that price zone and moved up again. And then price came back into that price zone to test it again. It rejected and moved away from it. So a lot of times consolidation can also become a support and resistance level. So as a beginner trader, do not get overwhelmed. It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science, I promise you. It might seem a little confusing at the beginning because at the beginning, everything seems confusing. I don't care if it's basic math. I don't care if it's basic science. I don't care if you're a baby just learning how to walk. It all seems like it's very, very difficult. But drawing levels is not difficult. You can use zones and you can use horizontal price lines. And just practice every single day. And you'll get better and better at it. Just give it some time. Like they say, that's a good thing about practice. If you keep practicing, you're not going to get any worse. You're just going to get better. And you will get better quicker depending on how much time you actually put into it every single day. So that's all I have for y'all guys.